Hey guys, John from Team Honey Badger here with a deck profile. Since Sean did his Galaxy Block Cougar deck profile, I figured, since that was his original deck, I would do my own original deck, which is Majesty Lord Blaster. The concept of the deck is pretty simple. It's one Vanguard majority of the time, then a second one for late game. So, let's dive into this. First up, Wing Brave. Wing Brave is a pretty generic blaster starter. It's a Forerunner skill, and its skill is put this unit into the soul whenever it hits when it boosted a unit with blaster in its card name. It doesn't have to be on the Vanguard, it can be on the rear guard as well. So you can have it to the rear guard circle on the side, middle, or other side. Anyways, put it into the soul, search your deck for up to one blaster, for up to one unit with blaster in its card name, reveal it to your opponent, add it to your hand. Pretty generic, 5k. Doesn't have blaster in its name, but it's Wingull. You gotta run Wingull. So, next up is 3 Majesty Lord Blaster. The reason why I run 3 is because 2 is too little. I can't ever draw it without Wingull Brave skill. 4 is too much. I'll always get it no matter what, and then it'll fill up my hand. I don't need 4 Majesty Lord Blaster in my hand when I'm at grade 1. 3 is just right, because I only usually run into about 2. So, anyway, the skill goes like this. You put Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark into your soul, and then it gains 10,000, and then its automatic skill, which lasts the whole game, turns on, activates, where it gains a critical and 2,000, so it becomes a 12k attacker and defender with a critical at no matter what point in the game. It's 10k, so my dude's skill would still work even though I don't run it in the deck, but still. And it combos really nicely with next turn Religious Soul Saver. Anyway. Next up, I run 2 Alt Mile, 2 Blue Sky Knight Alt Mile, because number 1, when I ride it, it's not like it's a 10k, so it's 11k. It still has a nice defense to it, defensive wall against those 9k and 10k grade 2 rear guards. So, and its skill is, during your turn, all the units in your front row get plus 5,000, Gym Break 2. And then its on-stride skill is Counterblast 1. When your unit stride, you may pay the cost. If you do, you choose up to. So that means you don't have to, but you can choose up to 2 of your units from your hand, call into rear guard separate rear guard, and then you choose 2 of your units, up to 2 of your units. Anyways, you don't have to, and they gain 5,000. You cannot give this power to the same rear guard in a row. So let's say I stride on top of Alt Mile, call 1 rear guard. I cannot just continuously give it 5k till the skill ends. But it's 11k base, good grade 3 for stride, and I find it very effective. Next up, I run 2 Dignified Silver Dragon. The reason why I run it's not for the Vanguard, it's for the rear guard. And the reason why I run it on the rear guard is because it's a 12k attacker. Its skill is, when the unit attacks the Vanguard, if you have a Royal Paladin Vanguard, it gains 2,000. So, it's only a 10,000 on the Vanguard until Limit Break activates, but it's still a really good rear guard to have in this deck, especially with all the power going to the Vanguard and not the rear guard circles. So, yeah. Next up, I run 1 Tekken King of Knights Alfred. I run King of Knights Alfred because sometimes I don't get all the rear guards I want in my hand. It's a call, so I use King of Knights Alfred when I do have him, Counterblast 3, and then I call up to up to 1 grade 2 or less from my deck to the rear guard. It works really well with Blaster Blade Spirit because, call, skill, Counterblast 1, and I choose a card from my opponent's rear guard circle that is grade 2 or greater in the front row, and I retire it. Blaster Blade Spirit skill can only be used from the deck, though, so. Its Vanguard skill, though I don't use it much, is it cannot be boosted. It gains 2,000 for each Royal Paladin unit. That's terrible in this meta. Next up, I run 4 Blaster Blade Spirit. I run 4 Blaster Blade Spirit because on the rear guard, it gets retired quickly, but on the Vanguard, as I usually have it, it's a 10k base as a grade 2 before I ride into Majesty Lord Blaster, which is great, especially when normally everyone has grade 2 9k Vanguards, and sometimes they won't have a unit to boost it. So I won't have the guard to make it a 5k pass. So, in the end, it's a good card, and its skill is, when it's called on rear guard from the deck, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards in the front row and retire it. It's also a Gold Paladin, so you can run it in Gold Paladin decks, but this is obviously a Royal Paladin, so that skill doesn't apply here. Next up, I run 4 of my Avatar. Blaster Blade. I run Blaster Blade because it's Majesty Lord Blaster, and also Blaster Blade is awesome. You guys can have your own opinions about that. I like Blaster Blade. Anyway, Blaster Blade's a grade 2, Counterblast 2 when it's... Counterblast 2, when it's placed on the rear guard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guard and retire it. This is the Vanguard skill, on placement only. So once you ride, you have to use the skill, otherwise it's too late. Counterblast 2, when the unit's placed on the rear guard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards and retire it. It can be in the back row as well, unlike Blaster Blade Spirit. And it does not get retired so easily like Blaster Blade Spirit does. It's guardable. But anyway, you know, Majesty Lord Blaster deck, you have to run it. Also, it's a blaster, so it helps out with Link Brave skill like Blaster Blade Spirit does. Along with my 3 Blaster Dark. Blaster Dark skill only works on the Vanguard for this deck because it doesn't have a rear guard skill. So, Counterblast 2, when it's placed on the Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So, Blaster Blade's on Vanguard skill, and then it has the 10,000 boost. It has the 1,000 boost if you have Blaster Javelin and Soul, but this is not Shadow Paladin deck, so I don't get that option. But, again, another blaster. My grade 2 list is full of blasters, not a single other non-blaster in the deck for grade 2 wise. And that is because I want Wingall Brave's skill off. It's part of the reason why Sean gave up guarding Wingall Brave on grade 2. Anyway, it's Majesty Lord Blaster deck. You have to run Blaster Dark in order to get the skill off. It's pretty obvious. Next up, for the grade 1s, I run 4 Battlesong Angel. Now, in this deck, Battlesong Angel replaced the old Marin I used to run. The reason why is because at Gen Break 1, if I have two or more other grade 1 rearguards, grade 1 or less rearguards, so I can have Margot on the rearguard as well. It gains 2,000, making it a 9k booster, and then it gains resist on top of that. Sadly, that doesn't work with Phantom Blaster or Diablo, because its skill forces me to choose. Its skill doesn't, the cost doesn't require it to retire 2 of your opponents. So if I was facing it, I'd lose if I only had this and another, and I had already strode. So I would get wrecked and annihilated because the resist would kick in and I wouldn't be able to use it as cost. So that's the only thing I find bad about this card. Otherwise, it's a great replacement for Marin. Sadly, Generation Break 1, but, you know, that's the meta we're in, where everything's Generation Break 1, except for, like, Legion and Limit Break. Episode 10, Sanctuary Guard. Oh god, Sean's got more support. Anyways, I run 3 Laurel Knight Sisyphus. The reason why I don't care about the Alt Mile skill, I care about the Stride Enabler. I never use the Alt Mile skill. I always use the fact that I can replace this card as a grade 3 for Stride cost. It's great, and it makes it easier for me to get off my Stride. Makes it easier for me to start off the combo of Stride as well as I demolish my opponent with Saint Blow Dragon. Next up, 3 Wingall. I run Wingall instead of a different grade 1 like Marin because when it boosts Blaster Blade, not Blaster Blade Spirit, it gains 4,000, making it a 19,000k, 19,000k column, I couldn't think. 19,000k row. Whatever it is, I can't think right now. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway. So, that's pretty much the only reason I run it. As well as a grade 1 to ride on top of Wingall Brave, it's the perfect ride. Because Wingall and Wingall, why not? There needs to be a grade 2 Wingall. Anyway, that's the only reason I run it. Just for the Blaster Blade support. It makes Blaster Blade effective later on in-game instead of just being used for Vanguard and Majesty skill. It makes Blaster Blade useful and not so terrible that it normally would be without this card. Sorry, Blaster Blade, I have to admit you're terrible as your normal, regular first card. I love the new art that's coming out in Japan, though, with the manga background. Anyway, next up I run 4 Rainbow Guardian Perfect Guard. The reason why I'm running this instead of Flash Shield Assault is because this can actually use Blaster Dark as a cost instead of Assault, which required a Royal Paladin to be discarded. This has no specific clan to be discarded. It's great for Majesty Lord Blaster, and I love it. It's perfect for this deck. It's not Flash Shield Assault, where every time I drop Blaster Dark without realizing that it had to be a Royal Paladin, Sean corrected me like a ref. Ugh. Sean and his ref skills. Anyway, I hated that about Flash Shield Assault. I absolutely hated it. This card makes me use Perfect Guards a heck of a lot more than I used to be able to with Flash Shield Assault. And, and that's the end of the grade 1s. Sadly, but grade 1, you can't run too many of it. Next up, I run 4 way different from each other heal triggers. I want to replace one Elaine with something else, just for the consistency of what I've been doing. Anyway, I run 4 heal triggers, 2 Yggdrasil Maiden Elaine, Jewel Knight Heal Me, and Healing Pegasus. I run heal triggers because it's heal triggers. You always have those in a competitive deck, no matter what the size of criticals. And I don't know why I've been doing this thing where I choose different heal triggers. It just makes it longer for regional applications and putting your deck on a piece of paper. It's just terrible for that, but still, it's awesome to have, like, Jewel Knight Heal Me and then Healing Pegasus come save me in the end when I'm at 5 damage, sacking those crits when I get hit. I mean, sacking those heal triggers. God, I cannot speak right now. Anyway, next up, I run 4 Bringer Good Luck, Epona, and then 3 Alabaster Owl, and 1 Burning Main Lion. 8 critical triggers total. I really don't care what the critical trigger is, you just always have to run 4 Epona, because Epona is the generic Royal Paladin. Critical, you will see that majority of the time, because Epona brings good luck. I mean, why not? Burning Main Lion is kind of ugly, but I really don't care. It's a critical trigger. If I got a free Alabaster Owl, I'd probably add it just for the consistency of not having to waste time filling out my deck on an application. But that's be the only reason. Last up on the grade 0s is 4 Margle. I run 4 Margle instead of the trial deck Royal Paladin draw trigger because Margle, great. It's great. Whenever you have it in your hand and you need a rear guard, but you don't have any grade 1s to boost, just call Margle, and whenever it comes time to get rid of him, just shove him in your soul instead of putting him in a drop zone, so he's not useless. And then when he's put into the soul, you choose a Royal Paladin, and that gains 3,000. You can add it to your Vanguard, a booster, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as it's Royal Paladin. Cannot give it to Blaster Dark, sadly, but who cares? It's still a great draw trigger compared to other draw triggers that do nothing. Alright, so next up, Strides. Oh, sorry. I'm here. I run 1 Shrouded Divine Knight Godblade. I only run 1 because 2's too many. You won't get off the skill late game. So there's no point in having multiple of it, but it's still a good card for early Stride when I don't have Majesty Lord Blaster's skill off yet, when I still haven't gotten him. Because that does happen sometimes, not too often though. Anyway, skill is when it hits the Vanguard, search my deck for up to 1 grade 2 or greater card, not grade 2 or less. I have to call it to rear guard. Doesn't specify whether or not it has to be open or closed, so Twin Sword effects where other decks just rapid spin those. Amazingness. Call it to rear guard and shuffle my deck. Strategies Sean uses, I do believe, in his Sanctuary Guard deck. But that doesn't matter here. Next up, 1 Great Sage of Contradiction Jons. I run Jons because I want efficiency in this deck. I want power. Most of the cards in my deck don't give power to rearguards, like the Vanguard. This card does. I call a card to hand, and then I can choose. I call a card from my hand, and then I choose up to one of my rearguard. Sorry, and then I choose up to one of my units. Can be this, the Vanguard, or it can be a rearguard, which is great because sometimes my rearguard circles do need power, and I give it 5,000 until the end of the turn. Now, I find that better than Gobblade because no matter what, you'll get the skill off. There's no special requirement of hitting the Vanguard, and also Gobblade doesn't hit late game. No one lets that hit late game because it could screw them over. It could be more dangerous than Saint Blow Dragon sometimes, depending on combos. Anyway, next up, I run 2 Holy Dragon Religious Soul Saver. I run 2 Holy Dragon Religious Soul Saver, only 2, because, well, it's not power. It's not Vanguard power like other units in this deck are. The skill is Counterblast 1, choose a face-down Holy Religious Soul Saver, and flip it face up. So I'll only be able to use this skill once. But anyway, if I have a Heart Blaster in its card name, I may pay the cost. I choose up to 3 of my units, and they gain 5,000 until the end of the turn. And if... Also, the 5,000 can be applied to Vanguard only once, though, not multiple times. And sorry I keep on doing that, but I don't have a tripod, and I don't have a cameraman, so... Sadness. That's what I get for recording this at 1 o'clock in the morning at my house instead of, like, school, like Sean did. Anyway. So, 5,000 could be on the Vanguard, could be on 3 rearguards, doesn't matter where it is, as long as it's on a royal... Wait. No, it just says 3 units, so I can put this on Blaster Dark as well. Sorry, I never really cared to read that part of the skill. I just forgot about whether or not it had to be Royal Paladin. Anyway. And then if you have up to 2, then if the number of cards in your soul with Blaster in its card name is 2 or more, it gains a critical. So on top of Majesty Lord Blaster being on the Vanguard with its normal critical, I can maintain the critical on Stride, making it still a dangerous threat and not being able to take him lightly. Because, you know, Majesty Lord Blaster's critical continues forward throughout the match. I never let it go away without an opportunity being lost, or Gobblade and Jons, because Gobblade and Jons aren't so good, but aren't so bad. Alright, lastly in the deck, for the deck profile, I run 4 Holy Dragon, Saint Blow Dragon. I run 4 because it's a great card. With GBT06 coming out, the new Transcending Heavens Alt Mile, Transcending the Heavens Alt Mile, whatever the card name is, it may end up replacing Saint Blow, it may not be. I don't know, depends on the skill when it's released. Anyway, and I don't run the current Alt Mile Grade 4 Stride because it doesn't fit in this deck. It doesn't give power to the Vanguard like Saint Blow does. Saint Blow trashes everything. The point of running 4 Saint Blow is that after this, they shouldn't be able to survive another Holy Dragon Saint Blow without losing significant cards in their hand. And even after these two, and even after one of this, another one should kill. So 3 turns total, and they should be down. 4 if you include Majesty Lord Blaster, but 3 Stride turns total, and they should go down no matter what. There's no way, unless they're sacking perfect guards from their trigger drives or draws, top deck kill triggers, that they can survive this. They cannot for the loss of cards in their hand, like so. But, Holy Dragon, Saint Blow, Dragon's skill is... when it's placed on the Vanguard... Wait, no, it doesn't... No, sorry, it does not have to be placed on the Vanguard in order for the skill to activate. It can Stride, and then you can use skill whenever on the turn before you attack. Flip a Saint Blow Dragon up in your G-Zone, and it gains 3,000 for each of your rearguards, not the opponent's. So my rearguards, it doesn't specify Royal Paladin, so it can be Blaster Dark. Then the reason why I run this card after Religious Soul Saver comes this way. Because if I have Stride, and if I have 1 face up, and if I have 2 Religious Soul Saver face up, it counts as 3. Wait, no, sorry, I'm thinking dumb. Anyway, so I'll stride, right? 2 religious soul saver. That's 2. Then you flip the thing up, its skill activates, and normally if you just run this first turn, the secondary skill will not activate, but due to the fact that I have Strode Religious Soul Saver, it'll gain a critical because there's 2 or more face-up G units in the G zone. Does not count for Vanguard, sadly, because that would be broken. Start turn 1 off with 15,000 gained. Wait. Sorry. I was messing up. Oh, weird. I thought it was 5. Anyway, sorry, I was being a little mess up. I forgot about this part of the skill. But you have to have 2 or more rear guards. Weird. I thought it was 5. Anyway, if you flip up the 2 cards in G zone face up, and then 2 or more rear guards, I'm surprised it's not 5. It gains a critical, and the ability cannot be used for the rest of the turn, sadly, but it's still great. It wrecks everything easily. Alright, and it's great power for in-game, especially with Alt Miles skill on Stride, which enables it to destroy everything. It will destroy everything. Holy crap, I just realized this too. What is wrong with me? Sorry, technical difficulties. Anyway, that's the end of the deck profile. I hope you liked it. Speak freely about the deck, and shout your opinions about it, whatever. And I will read them, and I'll take your opinions on the deck, and I'll also maybe edit the deck based on what you guys say should be added. I don't know, it may be good, it may not be. Sean tries to give me assistance all the time, but I don't listen to him, so don't be hurt if I don't listen to your deck advice, because I don't even listen to Sean's half the time. But, yeah. So, send your support on the deck, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and quick announcement for after Christmas. After Christmas, I'm going to be doing my deck profile on this deck that I'm currently building. It's sorry, it's not in a, organized state. It's not finished yet, but it's obviously post, according to Amos here, it's post Comic Booster. So the deck will have all the Alfred support in it. Once it's done, post Christmas, wait, I think, screw it, I'll just say after Christmas. After Christmas, once the deck is done, I will give a deck profile out on it. And there will be trial and error as I go through with it. I don't have a specific build with it. I'm running Bin-On in the deck, and I'm hoping that goes good. I don't have all the cards for it right now either because I'm poor. And, yeah, my wallet's poor. I can still live, but, you know, I'm 14, can't get a job. Too young, too poor to sustain cards. Gotta wait till after Christmas. Most of you will get it if you're under the age of the legal working age in your state or country, depending on where you live. Anyway, so, after that, thanks for watching. Again, leave a like, comment, subscribe, send your opinion. Sean has plenty of other videos. I don't post as much as Sean. Sean has plenty of other videos for you guys to watch on this channel, so please go ahead and watch those, rate, do whatever you wish. I can't control you. You have freedom. I'm not going to go into too much detail. You have the freedom to do whatever you want on YouTube and the internet. Most places, anyway. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Alright. So, thanks for watching. Again, comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys next time in the millennia that I actually record a video. Or this deck profile. Bye.